Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and of course, Predator Badlands drops this Friday. Hopefully, I'll get to see it on the Friday and I'll get the review out later in the day. But now we're hearing about box office projections. What's this movie going to do? And the numbers they gave were huge. And I do mean huge. Now, the interesting thing is we know that studios like to put out these massive numbers and then they usually wind them down and then they hope that it goes past the lower number so they can go, oh my god, it smashed expectations. Well, unfortunately for Predator Badlands, the numbers that were put out don't seem to actually be lining up with the revised numbers that have come out. So what we ended up having initially was the movie was estimated to be in around 60 million global start for Disney and director Dan Trachtenberg, right? With 25 million of that expected to come from the US and Canada. So what they're saying here is Prey and Predator Killer of Killers were released directly on streaming, so we don't have those numbers because obviously you wouldn't get any. But current projections, this was what they put out, point to the movie earning $99.1 million at the domestic box office and $154.8 million internationally. That's the numbers they put out. So internationally, they said this movie, Badlands, would make $154.8 million and just under $100 million at the domestic box office. So they're trying to tell us that it would have ended up making over 200 million in its opening weekend. Well, the funny thing is that would give it a final global accumulation of $253.9 million. Now, are they talking there when they say that about the overall number or the opening weekend? Because unfortunately for them, there is bad news because there's an update. Variety is now reporting that a 25 million to 30 million domestic and 68 million global debut is more likely. What we're hearing here is that they've put the projections from over $250 million all the way down to a mere $68 million. The movie, of course, has another issue, its budget. Now, the budget is reported to be $105 million. I doubt that. I'd say it's a little more. I wouldn't say it's too much more, but I'd say it's a little more. I'd say it's probably more in around the 110 to 115. And the reason I say that is because they filmed in New Zealand. I'm pretty sure it was New Zealand. And they get tax breaks, of course. But I don't think we get to see the tax numbers in New Zealand like we do the UK. Could be wrong. I can't quite remember. But a global thing box office report was putting out that the movie would come in between 23 and 32 million for the domestic opening weekend against the production budget of north of 100 million. The other issue they have is marketing. Now, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll say the 105. But the marketing for this thing, it's been a juggernaut with marketing. So marketing has to be at least between 80 to 100 million. There's no way it's lower than that because it's everywhere. There's like a million TV spots being shown every day on YouTube at this stage. There's like 20 different type of featurettes. There's 100 bloody clips and there's like a gazillion trailers for the thing. And then of course posters. There's posters here, there and everywhere. All different posters. And then of course not one but two Predator themed popcorn buckets, which I'm sure they're paying a pretty penny for them things to be produced as well. So overall, the movie, even without marketing, would have to make at least just under, probably 250. But you add the marketing, you have to double that. So we'll say 80 million for the marketing, and we'll give them their 105. That's 185 million all in, which means the movie would have to make in and around 320, 330. And they're projecting its overall total may come in as little as $256 million. It's like, yeah, that's not great. And the irony is they're still trying to say this thing will have the biggest opening of all the Predator movies combined. It's like, except the fact that Predator in 87 opened to $98.3 million, but it was made for next to nothing. Predator 2 made $54.8 million. That was in 1990. Again, made for slightly more, I believe, but still. Alien vs. Predator made $172.5 million. I don't know why they're putting that in there, because you're not going to compare it to the AVP movies. But then again, once you go to Predator's numbers, of course, you adjust for inflation, and that number skyrockets. Because you have to do that. You have to calculate for that. So everything that they've been coming out and saying, this thing is going to blow the doors off the box office, it's going to be a rip-roaring success, that they said that the thing was going to open internationally with $150 million. And those numbers have now been revised all the way down to 68 million globally. That's terrible. That is terrible. And yes, it's getting overwhelmingly good reviews. Except, did you notice something? Go look at the actual reviews. They all are worded the same way. Because of course they are. It's that initial reaction. It's, let's bring in all the shills and all the people that we're going to give the access to. Half them you've never heard of. And then you're reading the reviews and you go, oh, they suspiciously sound all the same. Trying to say it's the best Predator movie since the first, it's this, it's that, and then they overpraise Ella Fanning and all this stuff, and it's like, of course we're hearing that. Paying fans will be the ones that'll go in and probably come out and go like, this thing is dog shit, or they'll come out and say this thing is actually fantastic. But then we're hearing some of the reviews and seeing what they're saying with their overpraising. The overpraising kind of takes away from what they've actually said, where you're like, wait a minute, what? Like, they're calling Ella Fanning and the Predator BFFs? That's actually in one of the reviews. Grace Randolph is calling for a romance between the synthetic and Deck, the Yautja, and are calling people who disagree and don't like this movie incels. That's where we're at with this movie. And the one thing a lot of them are coming out and saying, even though they're still praising it, which tells you everything you need to know, is yes, it's absolutely Disney-fied. So we'll wait and see on Friday. There's going to be a lot of videos, by the way, on the channel with this movie from now until the movie comes out, because a crap ton of information has dropped, so we'll be covering all of it. But these projections aren't looking good for this thing, and the question, of course, being asked now is, will this be Disney's fourth flop in a row? And it's very possible. And as I've said, the PG-13, that'll be there to try and get more asses in seats, because it'll be, we can get the kids in. Problem is, it'll probably do one of those things that most Disney movies do. It'll be very front loaded, and then it'll nosedive off a cliff. If this thing makes as little as $23 million in its opening weekend, yeah, it's done. It's over before it even starts, and the return to the big screen will be killed off quicker than the Predator could actually get you. So, what do you guys think of this? Are you still interested in seeing the movie? Are you looking forward to it? Let us know what you think about all this, and do you think these numbers are too low? Do you think they're too high? Let us know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.